In today's video, I'm gonna show you how we took a blank space in our master bathroom that looked like this and added a built-in his and her closet that looked like this using ChatGPT. Creativity's never been a strong suit of mine. It just takes so long to get my wheels turning for some reason. I can't just look at something and then all of a sudden have an idea. It just takes a lot of time, but that's where ChatGPT comes in and it cuts the time in half dramatically. There's now a new feature, at least new to me, where you can upload a picture of your current layout and give it a prompt of his and her closet space, give me ideas based on this picture, and a couple of these pop out. It is a little bit finicky. You gotta keep playing around with it, but it definitely gets your gears turning in the right direction of how your closet's gonna look. So let's flash back a couple days where I literally started from scratch and build the base up. I ended up going with 2x6s instead of a standard 2x4, and the bases are 24 inches wide. Now that they're set in place, I'm gonna mount them to the wall and then shim them up and make sure everything's level and ready for the dressers. Now it's time to lock the base down with some 3-inch screws. Jackpot, baby. Plywood base is on. There's only one problem. There is about a pencil-sized gap where the plywood meets the wall. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my pencil and scribe it to the wall, take it back out to the sunroom, cut it, and then bring it back in here for a good fit. I just don't want that plywood to overhang that 2x6 space, because when I run up the 6-inch trim, I want everything flush. I don't want it to be poking out. So let's draw it. The scribe on the plywood is exactly what the doctor ordered. I can now move that out so where it's flush with the baseboard that I'm about to install. Then once we get the base set, I can bring in the cabinets, set the cabinets, and then slowly start building off that. I have my 6-inch piece of trim right here. I'm gonna make it flush with the plywood, and then I already created a little notch so it sits on the existing trim because it rides a little bit higher. And then I'm gonna set it all in place with some 2.5-inch trim nails, and fingers crossed it doesn't blow out the top. We're gonna dab a little bit of glue, a little dab. Set point. Squeeze them together. Let's screw it down. The plywood base is locked down, but stay with me, don't go anywhere. The 6-inch base trim that I just installed, I'm gonna layer it with this 4-inch trim just to give it a little bit more dimension and hide, and it'll just kind of keep your eyes away from the multi-level 6-inch baseboards coming together that are kind of offset a little bit. But again, it kind of gives it that extra step. Tonight we built and leveled the base, put the dressers up just to get an idea. Again, ChatGPT is a great way to just kind of brainstorm some ideas. I think it's crazy how you can just upload a picture and then it'll give you a bunch of different layouts. But I think overall this is gonna be the best design for our space. Tomorrow I'm gonna install and build the top shelves and then just keep working my way down. Anyway, I'm clocking out for tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're back, let's build that top shelf. The shelf is up and it's at the right height. Now I just need to add the sides on to the cabinets, and then I'm gonna secure it with this piece of backing, and then I just put some pocket holes. I'll probably have 3 tiers of these, just bottom, middle, top, and then that's just gonna keep it square. And again, I want to put that dresser in so it just slides in, and then once I put the trim on, it'll look like an official built-in. That's the game plan. The plywood shelves are square and tacked with those little trim nails. Now I'm gonna go back with a pocket hole screw and just secure everything down. Bring this in a little bit. Let's do a little fit check. The dressers are really tight fit in the opening with the plywood. So a little too tight, but it'll work. But what I'm trying to do is go in for that built-in look, just trying to line up the plywood with the dresser so that it's just a seamless transition when I go to add the drawer fronts and the trim on the side. I'm gonna use my trim gun just to quick set it, and then I'll come back with construction screws and screw the panels to the plywood. In the sunroom, I cut some shelves. I'm gonna place right over top. And I want this flush with the existing plywood. I feel like I'm gonna lose the plywood down the crack and never get it back. Everything that we just did on the first side of the closet, we need to literally rinse and repeat everything on the second set. So I'm gonna need about 4 more sheets of plywood at the good old Home Depot. I'll be right back. Just got back from Home Depot. The goal is to have the plywood have 2 23-inch wide by 74 and 3/16 inch plywood. I'm gonna just go ahead and cut it down the middle, freehand it. When I put plywood around the dresser, I'm gonna have the finished edge to me, and then I'll have the parts that I free cut facing the wall, and then I'll trim it out and you'll never be able to see it. Now I'm going to use this pocket hole jig, the drill bit, and a clamp to do pocket holes all the way around each panel. And that's what's going to connect the top piece of the plywood to the bottom piece of the base. All the plywood has pocket holes in it, and that 2-inch strip that I saved from the 2 23-inch pieces that I cut down the middle, I actually made some backer boards. These are gonna be helpful when actually setting the plywoods in place. So I made them a little bit wider than the actual dresser where they're gonna be going. So let's go ahead and bring all the materials back in the master closet. I'm running into a little bit of an issue where I'm gonna be hanging the clothes. It's almost like I don't have enough space. I'm trying to figure out what's the minimum clearance I need for the hanging rod, and then how much of a distance off of that before I can put another shelf. So that's it. This is day number 2. I'll see you guys on day number 3. We're back. This is day number 3. I already cut the top shelf. Let's go ahead and set it in place. I have the second shelf right above the hangers set. Looked it over with Claire, she gave the approval. We're gonna go from the rod 40 inches down. That's gonna be where the plywood goes as like a shelf, and then we'll just kind of build off from there. Probably add in some like pull out hangers. I thought that was pretty cool. Maybe add those down below, because when you go to 40, then really after that 40 inch mark, I only have probably like 30 inches, give or take. So it's not long enough to add in another rod, which was what I was aiming for, but we'll do something creative with that space. Right on the money. All right, I'm clocking out for tonight, and that is part 1 of how I'm building my closet in our master bath. ChatGPT definitely helped brainstorm some ideas. Now we kind of veered off from the initial design, ended up doing more like a his and hers, kind of more of a basic design than what ChatGPT had, but overall, it is a great tool, free tool to use. Stay tuned for part 2 where I finish out the trim and then paint it, and then we start adding the clothes in. So that's all I got for tonight. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.